Hello everyone, welcome back to Tarot. Thank you so much for always following and supporting this channel. The very moment you come across this video is the right moment for you to receive the message meant for you. On this channel, I always bring messages about the things that are about to unfold in your life. When you open yourself up to these insights and truly believe in the positive, you are also connecting with a parallel world where your wishes have already become reality. Today, through the cards, I will help guide you toward finding the right direction in your love life and toward manifesting the desires deep within your heart. The theme of today's reading is, what does the future between you and your person look like? Let's explore this together right now. I have prepared 3 cards corresponding to Pile 1, Pile 2, and Pile 3. Take a moment to listen closely to your intuition and choose the card that calls out to you most strongly. After making your choice, you can click the timestamp in the description box to go directly to your reading. Now then, let us begin the session with those of you who have already made your choice. Hello to all of you who chose Pile 1. Thank you for waiting, and now I will begin the reading dedicated to those who selected this pile. My hope is that this reading will bring you healing, new insights, and tender, love-filled moments. The theme we are focusing on today is, what does the future between you and your person look like? First, I will take a look at the current situation between the two of you. I have drawn 6 cards to reflect your present circumstances. The Star, the 9 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, Temperance, the 10 of Cups, and the 3 of Pentacles. Based on these 6 cards, I will examine the overall picture of where things currently stand. My first impression as I look at these cards is that you appear to be in a space that feels safe, stable, and somewhat secure. However, your person seems to be in a completely different environment, one that is not at all comfortable, perhaps even filled with strain and pressure. The energy I sense from your person is as if they are fighting, struggling, or confronting something demanding, possibly work-related stress, external problems, or a situation that requires them to endure and push through. This relationship between the two of you does not come across as something brand new or fleeting. It doesn't feel like a recent encounter or a connection that just sparked. This is strongly indicated by the presence of Temperance and the 3 of Pentacles, which suggest that there is already an established bond between you. This could manifest as working together, collaborating, or perhaps you learning something from them, or conversely, you being the one to teach, guide, or share knowledge with them. It may also point to the fact that the two of you have, at some point, partnered or supported each other in a certain endeavor. However, more recently, it seems that the balance in this connection has started to shift. One possible reason could be that your person has come to realize the feelings you hold for them. This is just an example to help you picture it, or emotionally. One of you has leaned more heavily toward the other, creating an imbalance in the dynamic. For this reason, many of you listening to this may feel that what is being described resonates with your situation if you find yourself in a state of one-sided affection. Looking at the overall energy, this connection does not yet seem to have matured into a fully developed romantic relationship. There is a strong sense that it is still in a stage of connection, but not one that has evolved into a deeply romantic bond. If you are listening and feel that your circumstances are entirely different from what I am describing, then it may be more fitting for you to check another pile. Now, I will also draw a few cards from the Oracle deck to shed further light. What emerges here once again indicates that things between you and this person have not truly begun in the romantic sense. But this does not mean that the two of you are strangers to one another. On the contrary, the feeling is much more like the two of you are still within each other's orbit, close enough to notice and sense each other's presence, as though you both exist within the same shared space of life or work. This card is the Crossroads. The image shows that at this very moment, one of you is being placed before an important choice, as though standing at the intersection of 2 paths, compelled to decide which direction to take. Or perhaps it is you yourself who is struggling, wondering whether you should continue holding on to your feelings for this person or whether the time has come to finally let go. There is hesitation, a contemplative silence enveloping you, and I can clearly sense this is a situation where your heart and your mind are pulling you in 2 different directions. Next, I drew another oracle card, and it was mindfulness. This card echoes a message that seems to suggest you have not yet fully expressed your emotions to this person, that something still remains unspoken, tucked away within you. The feeling here is that you are living in a state of both expectation and unease, constantly questioning yourself about where this connection will lead. You may find yourself wondering, if I keep going, will it truly bring happiness? And if I stop, am I abandoning a chance that could have been meaningful? This card advises you to remain present in awareness, to listen closely to your inner voice, and to carefully observe your authentic feelings, because only then will you discover where the real answer lies. Now, let us turn to the question of how this person currently feels about you. 3 cards have appeared: Strength, the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess. When placed together, the imagery reveals that in their eyes, there still exists a boundary between the two of you, a line they feel is difficult to cross. They perceive you as someone who has your own private world, a sacred space that you deeply value and protect. The Two of Swords suggests that they may think you are not truly invested in matters of the heart at this time, or at the very least, not showing any particular interest in them. They might sense that you keep a distance, that you are not opening up or showing signs of being drawn in by their presence. And yet, when Strength is read alongside the High Priestess, they still feel within you a special kind of energy, an attraction that is subtle yet powerful, both steady and elusive. It captivates them, making it impossible for them not to notice you, impossible not to feel that there is something profoundly unique about you. What you embody in their eyes is a remarkable ability to communicate, to guide, and to nurture others. They see you as someone deeply gifted in teaching, in fostering growth, in supporting and uplifting those around you. You appear to them as a person who knows how to show the way forward, to set direction, to open doors to the potential hidden within others. In their perception, you stand as someone mature, grounded, and trustworthy, with a quality of seriousness and integrity that flows through both your words and your actions. The 3 cards that have emerged here depict this very clearly. They truly see you as someone principled, careful, and profound. When I look more deeply into this spread, this sense of steadiness and reliability becomes even more evident. The Queen of Pentacles has appeared, and when it combines with the 3 of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands, it paints a vivid and dynamic picture of how you live in their mind. The 3 of Pentacles carries the meaning of teamwork, collaboration, and the ability to integrate harmoniously with others, and it also suggests that you possess special talents that are not easily found in everyone. From the Ace of Wands, they perceive within you a powerful well of passion, a flame of inspiration and drive that burns quietly yet steadily. You are not the kind of person who shouts, who pushes forward recklessly, or who seeks to display yourself loudly, but in their eyes, the values you hold within are treasures, precious, profound, and undeniably strong. For some, there is even the distinct sense that they themselves are being supported, encouraged, or uplifted by you in some way. Whether it is something explicit and outward, or subtle and quietly felt, the connection between you two remains present. It is a bond they recognize and respect, and it is something they hold in genuine appreciation. When I drew another oracle card, Summer appeared. The imagery on this card shows 3 diligent bees. This symbol immediately brings to mind the way you provide them with valuable information, meaningful news, or helpful advice that enables them to resolve problems or to see things with greater clarity. They feel strengthened by your presence, they feel fortunate to have you in their life, and there is a genuine sense of gratitude for the assistance you have offered. Alongside that, this card also reflects how, in their eyes, you are someone hardworking, dynamic, constantly in motion, and devoted to what you do. All of these qualities together weave a very beautiful image of you in their mind, one that they hold in high regard. Next, I turn to explore the deepest, most authentic emotions they carry for you at this moment. 3 cards came forward: the Page of Wands, the 7 of Swords, and the 9 of Cups, a combination rich with meaning. Most notably, the 9 of Cups stands as a symbol of satisfaction, emotional fulfillment, and wholehearted affection. This reveals that they are indeed paying real attention to you and that you appear in their thoughts far more often than you might realize. They see you as someone who stirs their heart, someone they genuinely cherish and feel deep affection for, someone who, whenever they think of you, brings a soft, radiant joy that spreads warmly through their entire being. When I look at the Page of Wands alongside the 7 of Swords, what becomes strikingly clear is that this person holds a genuine yearning to learn more about you, to delve deeper into who you are. This is not a fleeting curiosity, not a passing interest, but rather a heartfelt desire to understand more about your thoughts, your feelings, and the inner world that defines you. If, up until now, the two of you have not fully exchanged direct means of contact, they may even be contemplating ways to ask for your number, or to find some excuse, some opening, to create a more immediate and personal channel of connection. To them, you are an alluring mystery, an enigma that exerts a strong pull on their spirit, and they feel compelled to explore until they can reach the true depths of who you are. Yet, intertwined with that longing is a subtle undercurrent of fear. Within them lies a quiet thought that perhaps they might not catch your eye, that they might not hold enough significance to be noticed by you. This sense of hesitation seems to arise from some kind of perceived distance between the two of you. It could stem from a difference in age, for example, if you are older and they are younger, or it might come from a difference in roles, such as the dynamic between a superior and a subordinate, or between a mentor and someone being guided. Especially if such a disparity does exist, the Seven of Swords suggests that they are highly conscious of how others might perceive it, uneasy about potential judgment or gossip from those around them. Even so, when I take in the full picture of the 3 cards here, I strongly sense a space between the two of you that is both delicate and significant. It is a kind of distance that is neither too near nor too far, close enough to feel the pull of presence, yet far enough to maintain restraint. It creates an emotional landscape where they find themselves both cherishing and aching, caught between the desire to step closer and the fear of disturbing the fragile rhythm that currently exists between you. As I drew more oracle cards, the imagery became even clearer. The 3 that appeared together reveal that in their eyes. You are someone truly captivating and extraordinary, a presence that inspires admiration and a sense of reverence. At the same time, however, you carry an air of elusiveness, almost like something delicate and ethereal. They feel that just when it seems they might reach out and touch you, you somehow slip gently beyond their grasp, leaving behind a space that compels them to reach for you even more fervently. Another card from the Oracle deck conveys that the feelings they hold for you are not merely those of simple admiration. There is, within their heart, a yearning for possession, a longing to move closer, to transform this connection into something more tangible, into a bond that is truly theirs to hold. They crave the chance to share more experiences by your side, to bask in the joy, the warmth, and even the intimacy that this connection has the potential to offer. The card expansion appeared, standing as a clear sign that their emotions for you are not only genuine, but also growing without pause, expanding, deepening, and spreading further within them day by day. Your image, your presence, and the energy you bring into their life are taking up an ever larger place in their heart, to the point where forgetting you, or remaining indifferent to you, becomes something nearly impossible. Next, I will turn to look at your own emotions for this person. 3 cards have appeared: the Knight of Cups, the Sun, and the 9 of Pentacles. The imagery of this spread makes it unmistakably clear that this person is exactly the type you are drawn to, the kind of individual who aligns with your taste both in demeanor and in essence. In your eyes, they possess a particular magnetism, an allure that pulls you in naturally, making it difficult for you to look away. And with the sun shining brightly at the center, your feelings for them go far beyond mere fondness. This is a love that is vibrant, radiant, a wellspring of warmth and joy that fills you each time you think of them. I can sense that you are, and continue to think of this person constantly, wondering what they are doing, where they might be, or yearning for the chance to meet them. If there has not yet been any direct exchange of contact, there is within you a strong longing to know, to seek out some opportunity to connect. For some of you, I even sense a subtle act of observation, as though you are quietly paying attention to their reactions, watching the way they look at you. It is not so much a game of testing them, but rather a genuine attentiveness to every signal they may send back. Looking at these 3 cards, I feel that for some of you, the emotions you carry are so luminous that you might be unconsciously revealing them, because the energy of the sun is too radiant, too intense to be hidden completely. There are those among you who may already feel that you cannot hold back your emotions any longer, that they flow out naturally, to the point where the other person cannot help but sense it. In some cases, the energy of this reading shows that your attention is fixed entirely on them. Your heart is filled with only this one person, as if all other presences fade into the background. And yet, alongside this longing, there remains a part of you that wishes for them to be the one to make the first move, to step toward you, to send out a clear sign, or take a decisive action. The 9 of Pentacles here suggests that even if you try to maintain composure, even if you attempt to conceal the depth of your emotions, your radiance and natural charm still inadvertently betray what you feel inside. When the Knight of Cups is combined with the energy of the other cards, the picture that emerges is of 2 people who both carry an undeniable appeal in the eyes of the opposite sex. You exude the energy of someone easily admired, someone who quietly draws the attention of many, while they come across as striking, magnetic, very likely blessed with an attractive appearance that captures notice from the very first encounter. The energy here is not limited to one-sided affection. It carries with it the sense of a powerful mutual attraction, though still layered with distance, with unspoken truths, and with feelings that have yet to be voiced. I will now draw a few more messages from the Oracle deck here. 3 Oracle cards have appeared, and they show that on your side, the card is increased energy, while on their side, the card is expansion. This gives me the clear sense that both of you are going through a process in which emotions are gradually growing stronger. In the beginning, everything may have started from just a faint awareness, a subtle feeling of there is something about this person that draws my attention. And then, as time passes, that vague sense transforms into a firmer conviction, into a clearer thought that perhaps this truly could be the one I have been searching for. What I see vividly is the image of two hearts being filled little by little, as though a stream of energy is flowing steadily between you, expanding and weaving a bond that deepens with every moment. On your part, deep inside, there is a very distinct desire. You want this person to be the one to take the initiative, to step toward you first, to confess, to openly express their feelings, or at the very least to show their emotions more clearly. But when I look at their nature, what emerges is someone who is a bit shy, somewhat reserved, at times lacking the boldness required to speak directly from the heart. Because of this, within this connection, there arises a subtle dynamic, almost like a quiet emotional game, a push and pull that plays out between you. And if I must say who is the one truly holding the rhythm of this dance, I feel strongly that most of it is coming from your side. This person is not the type who calculates or creates strategies to draw the other's attention. They lean more toward the dreamer's approach, wishing things would unfold this way or that way, rather than taking deliberate steps or acting with a concrete plan. Next, I will look into what the two of you need to overcome. 3 cards have appeared: the Page of Cups, the Tower, and the King of Cups. The very first and clearest message here is the necessity of becoming more honest, more direct, and more open with your true emotions. There are aspects, layers within yourself that you have not yet allowed this person to see, and this is precisely what you are being called to courageously reveal. When you dare to let them witness your true self, that will be the moment when this bond takes another step toward maturity. The cards reveal a powerful longing in you, the yearning to be received, to be understood, to have even the most hidden parts of you embraced fully. You crave for them not only to accept the version of you that shows outwardly, but also to accept your emotions, your fears, your hopes, and the imperfections you carry within. Beyond that, I also sense that for some of you, your primary focus right now is on how to make this person think of you, notice you, acknowledge your presence. Yet at the same time, I see that within this connection, there still exists quite a wide gap. The two of you have not yet shared an open exchange of feelings, nor have you had that moment of mutual revelation where both hearts lay bare their truths in order to truly understand each other. In fact, in some cases, you have not yet fully grasped what this person is thinking, nor how deep their emotions for you actually run. It is this very uncertainty that creates your unease, because when you cannot see the direction clearly, when you cannot tell how things will shift or unfold, then feelings of anxiety and restlessness naturally arise. With these 3 cards together, I see that this energy is indeed what is surrounding and influencing the connection right now. Next, I drew 3 more cards, and the energy flowing from them only reinforced the feelings I had earlier. The Hierophant, the King of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups appeared, once again emphasizing that right now the emotions of the other person remain a mystery. You cannot yet read or fully grasp where their heart is truly leaning. This means you need to navigate through this foggy phase by creating opportunities for both of you to genuinely open up. It may come through deeper conversations, through direct expressions of what lies within, or even through a sincere confession that allows both of you to understand each other's feelings with clarity. I sense that this person is not the type who easily lays their heart bare. They have a tendency to guard themselves, to keep their emotions locked within, not showing them overtly to the outside world. And because of this, you are the one who falls into a state of uncertainty, hesitation, not knowing what to do next, sometimes even feeling as though you are being completely led by their moods, their emotions, and their attitude. I also perceive that in your own thoughts, much of the movement in this relationship depends on them, that it is they who hold the key, the power to open or close this door of connection between you. And here, as I already shared at the beginning, the bond between the two of you is not something that just sprouted recently or casually. This is not the kind of fleeting encounter or superficial acquaintance. It is a connection with a foundation, with history, and that very depth makes the emotions you are experiencing now even more profound, but also far more complicated. I can sense very clearly that this is a relationship with a long-standing foundation, something that has been built and nurtured over time. It may have begun from friendship, from being part of the same circle, or from a bond as close companions walking alongside one another. It could also be that this is someone you have quietly cherished for a long while, someone whose presence you have held in your heart and paid attention to, silently cultivating the connection within yourself. To shed more light on this, I drew a few more oracle cards. The very first card that appeared was Soulmate, placed right at the center, and to deepen the understanding of this energy, I drew an additional tarot card, the Two of Cups. I then pulled yet another card, and it was truly remarkable to see the Ace of Cups appear. Before delving into the profound meaning carried by these two cards, I want to pause and highlight another powerful message that the deck is conveying. The energy shows that either you or this person, or perhaps both of you, are currently overwhelmed with too many things on your plate. The mind feels scattered, unable to focus on a single direction. It is as if the current of life is sweeping you along, leaving you drifting and at times unable to find your bearings. I can clearly see the state of being caught in a fog, unable to identify what truly deserves to be the top priority, uncertain of what to choose, or perhaps even deliberately avoiding making a choice. And this, right here, is the great challenge both of you must overcome. Because if vagueness, hesitation, and indecision continue to take hold, then this bond, no matter how strong the undercurrent of connection, will struggle to move forward with clarity and progress. In addition, I can also sense some very specific situations that you might be experiencing right now. It may be that you feel out of step with this person, as though you missed an important moment or arrived just a little too late, moving one step behind them. There is also the possibility that you sense they have already moved ahead, that they have progressed further down a certain path in life or within their emotions, while you remain standing still, lingering in place. Or perhaps, more simply, what resides within you is a quiet fear, a hidden barrier that has kept you from summoning the full courage to step forward. You are deeply aware that if you were to advance, if you were to open your heart, something beautiful would be waiting there, yet your feet remain unable to move. This is the space of inner conflict, a battlefield between desire and hesitation, between the light of faith and the shadow of fear. Returning now to the two tarot cards I drew to illuminate the message of the Soulmate card, the Two of Cups and the Ace of Cups, both of them radiate a profound current of loving energy. The Two of Cups represents a bond that is balanced and reciprocal, a meeting point where two hearts genuinely turn toward one another. The Ace of Cups, on the other hand, is the fresh dawn of an emotional flow, a beginning that is pure, overflowing, and untouched. Together, they reveal that between you and this person, the love is real, the resonance is genuine, and both of you can feel the undeniable pull of this connection. And yet, the challenge is that these emotions have not yet been spoken aloud in their entirety. Both of you appear to be holding something back, keeping certain truths unexpressed, never fully offering one another the clarity of a direct confession. The energy here does not suggest a lack of feeling, but rather the absence of that pivotal moment where both hearts open at once, allowing what has been silently carried within to finally be released, spoken, and wholly received by the other. The very first and most important thing here is that you must find a way to overcome this challenge. The appearance of the Soulmate card reveals that the bond between the two of you is one of such profound depth that it feels almost impossible to sever. This is the kind of fated connection that the universe itself arranges, where two souls are destined to cross paths, whether it be to love each other, to support one another, or to heal and complete the missing fragments within each other's hearts. Between the two of you exists a delicate balance of complementarity. What you lack, the other provides, and what they lack, you embody. Yet I can also sense that there are still emotions and thoughts left unspoken, as though both of you are keeping so much within, unsaid words lingering silently in your hearts. Now let us move into the final part, the future between you and this person, to see how things are about to unfold. The first card that appeared was the Three of Wands, followed closely by the Ace of Pentacles. The message here is strikingly clear. Emotions and direction will become more defined, more solid, and more steadfast. What was once uncertain, what once wavered or felt unstable, will gradually settle into clarity, into a firm foundation that is no longer easily swayed. This is the moment where both of you begin to see the path ahead with greater vision, where a shared goal comes into focus, and where readiness to express this outwardly begins to take shape. Following this, the Emperor appeared together with the Knight of Swords. This pairing powerfully emphasizes, once again, the strength of stability in love, an inner firmness that makes this connection resilient against any forces from the outside. It speaks of initiative, of the courage to move forward, of the will to defend what one believes in, and of the unwavering determination to pursue that conviction all the way through to the end. And then, as I turn to the next three cards, the Six of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Six of Cups, I recognized a very clear signal that this relationship is about to evolve and take a meaningful step forward. The Six of Swords carries the image of a journey, a movement toward calmer waters, leaving behind turbulence and uncertainty in order to seek a place of greater peace and stability. The Eight of Cups reveals the willingness to walk away from what no longer aligns, the courage to release old patterns or situations that no longer serve the heart in order to step into a new chapter, even though it may demand bravery and determination. And the Six of Cups brings in the gentle yet profound energy of attachment, the sweetness of cherished memories, and a soul-deep bond that feels both familiar and comforting. When woven together, these cards reveal a powerful story that even though there have been moments of confusion, hesitation, and uncertainty where neither of you quite knew how to move forward, the path ahead carries the promise of positive transformation. There will be shifts and changes that allow the two of you to come closer to clarity and mutual understanding. At the same time, these changes will serve to strengthen the foundation of affection that has already existed between you, turning it into a connection that is not only resilient and enduring, but also rich with emotion, tenderness, and depth. I can sense the message here with absolute clarity. The Six of Swords appears, and I know that often when people look at this card, they immediately think of leaving, of separation, of moving away. But in this context, what I see is not a parting, not a breaking apart. Instead, it is the image of the two of you stepping out together from the old shell of this relationship, shedding the previous way of being connected in order to move into something new, something more mature and evolved. It is like a process of transformation, of casting off an old skin to reveal a new form, leaving behind what no longer fits in order to embrace a deeper and more authentic way of being together. And with the presence of the Emperor, this energy becomes even clearer. This is not simply about beginning to love each other or entering into a casual connection. This is about a serious bond, one with direction, with vision, with the intention of building a stable and enduring future. This person will show you that through their concrete actions, through their unmistakable attitude, and perhaps even through words spoken directly to you, expressing seriousness, commitment, and the desire to hold on firmly. I also feel deeply that this person has kept you in their thoughts for a long time. At first, it may have been admiration, seeing you as someone unique, someone captivating, someone who stood apart from the rest. But over time, that quiet admiration has slowly and steadily transformed into love. And now they want to express it. They want to give voice to what has long been unspoken, even if in the past they struggled to confess. What the cards are underlining with emphasis is that this relationship is destined to shift. It will no longer remain in its old form. It will evolve. It will transform into something new, something clearer, stronger, and far more committed than it has ever been before. When I drew three more cards, the message was truly beautiful. Once again, the Ace of Cups appeared, and when combined with the surrounding cards, the energy I felt was one of a long journey finally coming to fruition. It was as if the deck itself was speaking, whispering, "At last, things will move forward." After a period of waiting, of challenges and tests, this relationship begins to accelerate, to gain momentum, becoming clearer, more decisive, and guided toward a positive and promising direction. I then drew one more card to deepen the insight before turning to the Oracle deck. The Oracle card that revealed itself was promise. And when placed alongside the three tarot cards already in play, the Ace of Cups, the Eight of Wands, and the King of Pentacles, the message became even more unmistakable. This is not merely a casual promise, not empty words spoken in passing. This is a vow, a commitment born from both sides, rooted in sincerity and mutual desire. It may take the form of a promise to build a future together, a pledge to move forward into an official relationship, or even the laying down of plans that carry long-term vision. It speaks of trust, stability, and the intention to turn emotion into something tangible, to transform feelings into a shared path that both of you are ready to walk side by side. As I mentioned earlier, what lies ahead between the two of you does not simply stop at the stage of beginning to fall in love in the ordinary sense. This is the turning point where both of you move further, advancing toward a bond that carries durability, stability, and longevity, something grounded in mutual agreement and the determined commitment of both hearts. This relationship will no longer remain as a vague emotional connection, but instead will be placed upon a solid foundation, nurtured with concrete actions, with sincere promises, and with the shared longing to walk side by side in completeness. With the King of Pentacles appearing alongside this current of love, I can sense with great clarity that the things once concealed, the feelings that you had not yet been able to see or understand fully, will now begin to reveal themselves in a transparent and undeniable way. These are the true emotions, the deep and serious affections that this person holds for you. The image of the King of Pentacles, when combined with the steadfast energy of the Emperor, illustrates that this is not a fleeting sentiment, not a passing attraction, but rather a commitment imbued with seriousness, stability, and the intent to create something enduring. It signifies a desire to establish a relationship that is truly strong, resilient, and lasting. You will come to realize that this person does not see this bond as something shallow or temporary. On the contrary, they are genuinely looking far ahead, envisioning a shared future that is clear, deliberate, and lasting with you. And it is precisely this realization, this revelation of their seriousness and vision, that will grant you a profound sense of reassurance and peace in your heart. As I have said before, the energy of promise continues to emerge. And this is not merely some vague or fleeting commitment, but rather something destined to be shaped into concrete action, into a clear milestone that affirms and anchors this relationship. They want to transform these emotions into something tangible, into a foundation upon which both of you can build together and sustain over time. The cards also reveal that between you there exists a bond so profound, so deeply rooted, that it is nearly impossible to sever. This is precisely the connection that was previously highlighted by the soulmate card, the bond of destiny itself. It is the kind of tie that feels as though it was written before either of you even arrived in this lifetime. Both you and this person seem to carry within your hearts a mutual yearning, a quiet but undeniable desire that if life were ever to offer the chance of returning to this world once more, both of you would want to meet again, to find each other all over again, to continue weaving this thread of connection. They too carry this longing that in this very lifetime they must encounter you, they must seek you out, they must find you, so that this bond of love may continue, so that this story of two souls may unfold and deepen in its destined way. This can also signify that both of you are carrying the very same longing, the desire to reconnect the thread that binds you, and this time, to see it through to completion. It may be the silent wish that this time you will truly come together, or perhaps it is simply that deep stirring within the heart that says, "This is the one whose hand I want to hold tightly, never to let go again." What I sense is that right now, both of you are immersed in that energy, a current that feels at once destined, yet overflowing with the yearning to love and to remain bound together. And so, the entire message for those of you who chose this first pile is this: you and this person already share a connection that is extraordinary, a bond unlike any other, and the time ahead will bring it into sharper focus, giving it greater solidity and grounding it in commitment more than ever before. This is no longer simply about feelings. It is about a relationship that is nurtured with seriousness, with reverence, and with the deep desire from both sides to walk alongside each other for the long journey ahead. I will bring this reading for Pile 1 to a close here. Thank you so much for accompanying me through to the very end of the spread. Until we meet again in the next readings. Hello to those of you who have chosen Pile 2. Thank you for waiting, and now I will begin the reading dedicated to those who selected this second pile. My hope is that this spread will bring you healing, fresh awareness, and moments filled with love. The theme we are exploring is, what will the future between you and this person look like? First, let us take a look at the current state of the connection between you both. The cards that appeared are the Three of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Devil, the Seven of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Three of Cups. The way this combination unfolds, especially with the Devil appearing alongside the Nine of Pentacles and the Three of Cups, gives me a strong sense that many of you who chose this pile are involved in a relationship that is complicated, layered, and difficult to clearly define or put into a single label. For those of you who are not in this type of undefined or complex connection, the energy suggests that at present you are in a position of strength, with a certain sense of agency and advantage compared to the other person. By contrast, they are carrying the energy of the Devil, and this often points to suppression, concealment, or a deliberate withholding of their true emotions. It could be that they are intentionally choosing not to speak something aloud, or that they are keeping a significant part of their inner world hidden away, beyond your current reach. The presence of the Page of Swords reveals slowness, hesitation, even stagnation, as though this relationship has been standing still, unable to discover the way to move forward. And the Seven of Wands emphasizes further that there are indeed obstacles, barriers, or circumstances in place that make frequent encounters, open exchanges, or natural progression difficult to achieve. There is the sense that both of you cannot easily be together or advance as swiftly as either heart might long for. I also drew a few oracle cards to shed additional light on the situation, and the energy they revealed further reinforced the sense that between the two of you, there has indeed been some form of incident or upheaval in the recent past. This could have taken the shape of an argument, a significant misunderstanding, or perhaps an event that caused cracks to form within the relationship, leaving it in need of time and care to heal. The appearance of the Devil card leans me even more strongly toward the possibility that, for some of you, the root may lie in dishonesty on their part, perhaps a lie, or a truth deliberately concealed, something kept hidden away from you. And yet, despite the tension and the heaviness of the current energy, I also perceive that this experience carries meaning and purpose for both of you. It feels as though this is a necessary challenge, a stage deliberately placed by the universe, so that you and this person might be forced to look more deeply at the nature of your bond. At present, peace has not yet returned, and the atmosphere between you still carries the weight of unresolved matters. I can see clearly that right now something very real is unfolding, something that demands that both of you confront it, to face it head on and find a way through, rather than letting it be brushed aside or left unspoken in silence. All right, let us continue. This next part will focus on the impression that this person currently holds of you. I will examine it carefully. What I see here is that there is a strong possibility that, in their eyes, at times they perceive you as being angry with them, or at the very least, carrying a sense of dissatisfaction within yourself. This impression arises because in this reading, 3 specific cards have appeared: Judgment, Temperance, and the 8 of Cups. Together, they give me the clear sense that at some point, something occurred which led you to anger, and they are now left with the feeling that they may have upset you, that they may have triggered your displeasure. Furthermore, when I link this with the earlier part of the spread, where Judgment appeared alongside the Devil, I can see very clearly that this could well be a connection marked by phases of closeness, followed by abrupt distance. At times, when together, the bond feels intensely strong, almost inseparable. And yet at other times, it feels cut off, as if communication has been severed entirely. This pattern paints the picture of many of you finding yourselves in a relationship dynamic where you are drawn in, only to step away, repeatedly caught in the cycle of attachment and separation. Most notably, the presence of the 8 of Cups strongly suggests that it was you who turned away, that you were the one who chose to walk off or create distance between yourself and them. The reason for this may be tied to the very incident I just mentioned, or it may be because you felt your trust in them had been damaged, perhaps even lost altogether. The Temperance card, on the other hand, shows that from their perspective, they still see you as someone whose energy resonates with theirs, whose personality harmonizes with their own, and that there once existed a very real sense of balance and compatibility between you. I also sense that, much like the case I analyzed earlier in Pile 1, there are clear signs here pointing toward a long-standing relationship. This could very well mean that the two of you were once officially in a romantic partnership, or at the very least shared a bond that was significant and deep, something much more than being simple colleagues or casual friends, something that reached far beneath the surface. Indeed, what I see here is a very real possibility that for some of you, although you may never have been officially in a romantic relationship, there has nevertheless been a physical bond, or at the very least, the connection carried a level of intimacy that went beyond the surface. And for others, there is the case where you did once love each other, but the relationship was layered with complexities, obstacles, and circumstances that prevented it from unfolding smoothly in the way you might have wished. I strongly sense that the majority of those listening to this reading will recognize that their own connection falls into one of these two scenarios, either a love that once existed but had to endure many hardships, or a bond that never became official in name, yet was marked by a profound depth of emotional and physical intimacy. All of these threads together are shaping the way this person currently perceives you. What I feel most vividly here is that, deep within their thoughts, there remains a conviction, a belief, that you will return to them. In their subconscious, and perhaps even in their conscious, subjective faith, they carry the sense that this tie between you is not something that can be easily severed. They think, they believe, that you will not abandon them completely, that you will not truly walk away forever. On some level, they're holding tightly to this trust, to this inner assurance that the thread binding you both still exists, that you will find your way back to them, or at the very least, that this connection cannot end in such a final, simple, and absolute manner. When I drew 3 more cards to gain greater clarity, the result was truly striking: the Ace of Cups, the Emperor, and the Ace of Wands. This combination speaks very strongly of a sense of possession that this person feels toward you, a way of thinking that you, in some profound sense, belong to them. The presence of both the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands together reinforces the idea that the original spark, the initial pull, remains completely intact, unchanged. They look at you and still see you as they once did, as if time itself has not altered you. Perhaps it is in the sense that you do not seem to have aged, or that your outward appearance retains the same freshness, the same allure and vibrancy as when they first fell under your spell. That image of you is etched deeply in their mind, making them feel that you continue to embody the very magnetism that once captivated them so intensely. And when I turned to the Oracle deck, 3 cards revealed themselves, one representing the Emperor, mirroring the Tarot, and another corresponding to the Empress. The pairing of the Emperor and the Empress here immediately conjures the image of a relationship that has reached a level of maturity, ripeness, or at the very least, one that once carried extraordinary depth. Even if this relationship was complicated, there are still traces, still echoes of a bond that refuses to be fully severed, of ties that remain stubbornly present. And because I am focusing here on their impression of you, I can see with clarity the longing, the yearning, the quiet insistence within them that you will return to their side. Deep within their emotions, there is also the sense that they continue to measure others against you, and time after time, the comparison always tilts in your favor. No matter what, no matter who, in their heart it is still you. Of course, not everyone will find this message resonates with their situation, so if it feels right for you, take it in and keep it close to your heart, but if it doesn't, simply let it pass. What truly stands out here is that in their eyes, you remain the most captivating person, the one with an undeniable allure. They feel irresistibly drawn to you, as though there is a natural magnetic pull that defies explanation. And more than anything, they long to return to those days of peace, serenity, and harmony, when both of you felt calm, at ease, and safe within the relationship, a time when you shared moments of tranquility and mutual comfort. After all those thoughts and longings, what follows next is the truest emotion they are holding deep inside at this very moment. Now, let us take a wider look at both of you and this person, to see the overall picture more clearly. First, I will focus on the genuine emotions that, at this present time, they are directing toward you. The first card that appears is the Knight of Swords, and to clarify its meaning further, I drew another card alongside it. That additional card is the King of Cups. Following this, 2 more cards emerge, the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles. Together, this combination speaks volumes. What I sense here is a profound pain, a sense of loss, and a deep emotional wound enveloping them. The King of Cups together with the 5 of Cups clearly expresses a state of grief, the anguish of having lost something profoundly important. Perhaps it is the emptiness they feel without your presence beside them, or the sorrow of having lost a bond that once gave them a sense of being loved, cherished, and protected. The 5 of Pentacles then adds another layer of meaning. It reveals loneliness, deprivation, the aching feeling of abandonment, being left to face everything alone without the ability to lean on anyone. I can feel here, within this relationship, that you once served as their refuge, the place where they could release their burdens, a spiritual anchor, someone who would listen and share the weight with them. And precisely because of that, when they lost you, they did not just lose someone important, they lost the very foundation they leaned on. That emptiness and loneliness leaves them aching, sorrowful, and filled with an unrelenting yearning to reconnect. What I see clearly is their deep desire to reopen the door that has been shut between the two of you, as though they wish to restore something precious that has slipped away. Within themselves, they truly want to find a way to alter the current situation. In fact, in their heart, they have already imagined certain directions, some possible steps they could take to mend things, to draw closer once again. Yet at the same time, they hesitate, questioning whether they should move forward, unsure if taking action would truly be the right thing or if it might only complicate matters further. They are standing right at that threshold between action and hesitation, unable to decide whether to cross it or remain still. As I drew 3 more cards from the Oracle deck, one particularly significant card appeared, the one that speaks about boundaries, about limits. This reveals that they feel very strongly the presence of a wall between you, a boundary that is not easily crossed. For some, these limits may arise from external circumstances, principles, or conditions beyond your control. For others, it may be a boundary set by the two of you yourselves, or perhaps imposed by one side out of necessity, a need to maintain distance. Depending on each situation, the meaning shifts, yet what remains constant is that they are acutely aware that this relationship is now confined within a line, a boundary, a distance, and this recognition leaves them caught between two conflicting emotions. A burning desire to break through it, and at the same time, the paralyzing weight of helplessness that chains them to where they stand. If this is a complicated relationship, what they feel is the necessity of establishing a clear boundary, a firm dividing line that neither of you can casually cross. And for those of you who feel this does not entirely apply to your own situation, then at this moment, what remains is that they are still dwelling in a state where boundaries have already been clearly set, and they are living within that loneliness, caught in the space created by that distance. They feel that solitude deeply, profoundly, as something that exists and weighs on them every single day. And just as I had shared in the interpretation of the previous two cards, I can see that in their mind they are quietly nurturing certain ideas, different possible directions, specific approaches that they believe, if they could put them into action, might lead you to accept them again, to reopen the door that has been closed. These are the steps and measures they imagine, actions conceived with the very purpose of rekindling this bond and bridging the separation. In their truest emotions right now, this desire is strikingly vivid. They want to do something, anything, that could lead you to welcome them back. And at the same time, I sense one more layer emerging from these two cards, an intense yearning for your help, for your hand to reach out toward them. They long for your support. They wish for you to grant them an opportunity, a chance to cross over this distance that now stands between you. This yearning is not passive. It is a quiet plea, a hope that you might extend compassion, understanding, and a gesture that would allow them to step forward once more into your presence. Next, I will turn to your own emotions at this present moment. The card that represents you is the Star, and I drew an additional card to clarify it. That supplementary card is the Page of Pentacles, and alongside these, two more cards appeared in the spread, the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Cups. Looking at this combination, what I feel from you is a yearning to move forward, to step into the next stage of your life, to head towards something new, a chapter that lies ahead waiting for you. The presence of the Nine of Wands reminds me of the Oracle card we saw earlier that spoke of boundaries, because the Nine of Wands too often reflects the act of putting up protective walls, setting barriers around yourself, remaining cautious and guarded, unwilling to let just anyone step easily into your inner world again. And when the Eight of Cups appears here, the message becomes even more unmistakable. You are contemplating a farewell to this relationship, or at the very least, you are seeking another place, another person, or another path altogether. There is within you the thought that perhaps, somewhere, there may still be someone better suited for you, or perhaps it is time to simply release your grasp and let go. Some of you may already be seriously weighing the decision to walk away, to no longer cling to this person, because deep down you feel that you deserve something brighter, something more harmonious, something that aligns more beautifully with who you are and what your heart truly longs for. This is not a fleeting thought. It is an awakening, a dawning realization that your worth, your light, and your future cannot be confined by what no longer serves you. What I see here is an inner struggle, a very distinct sense of conflict that is surfacing within your heart. As I continued to draw more oracle cards, the message became increasingly clear. There is a powerful sense that you are leaning toward new connections, seeking out relationships or encounters that hold the promise of something different, something beyond what you currently have. The three oracle cards that appeared here seem to reaffirm what I mentioned earlier, that many of you feel that opening your heart to a new relationship may indeed be better for you. Among them, the Moon emerges, carrying with it a reminder of mystery, of truths yet to be spoken, or even the possibility of a hidden relationship. This card reflects the longing within you for comfort, for shelter, for a sense of being protected not only emotionally, but spiritually as well. Yet, at the same time, I can also see that some of you are coming to realize that with your current person, such a deep need for protection and care feels very difficult, if not nearly impossible, to be fulfilled. Another card that revealed itself was flexibility, but here, the energy I sense does not align fully with the traditional meaning of adaptability or compromise. Instead, what rises to the surface is something quite different, a fire of anger quietly burning inside you, an energy that has not yet been expressed. This feeling may stem from the sense that you have not been valued, that you have not been placed in the position you rightfully deserve. Even if you do not speak it aloud or show it openly, this anger and disappointment still exist within you, lingering especially when you think of them. Deep inside, it is as though you still remember vividly those moments, those experiences that left you hurt, that made you feel unappreciated and wounded. This unspoken fire, though hidden, colors the way you view both the present connection and the path ahead. Next, as I turn to the part about what must be overcome, 3 cards appear: the 8 of Pentacles, Strength, and the 5 of Wands. This trio delivers a message that is strikingly clear. This is a journey that demands patience, perseverance, and the ability to endure challenges. Yet the energy here is not directed solely toward them. It is, above all, directed toward you. For anything to take shape, to manifest outwardly, or to reach a state of completion, you must accept that the process will take time. It requires you to learn how to wait, to remain patient with circumstances and elements that are not yet ready to unfold. The card of Strength emphasizes the importance of restraint, of tempering your emotions, and of approaching everything with a long-term vision rather than a short-sighted reaction. It speaks of the discipline to harness your inner power, to master the impulses of frustration, and to sustain balance even when the path feels demanding. And if this has to do with their own growth, their transformation, their maturing into the person you hope they can become, then all the more so, it will require even greater time, because personal evolution is never instantaneous. It unfolds gradually, with effort, with struggle, with setbacks that shape who they are becoming. This is not a journey of haste, not one that can be rushed through or forced to fit into the timeline you wish it to. Instead, it is a test, a trial designed to measure the endurance of your own heart. It challenges you to weigh carefully how much you can bear, how much you are willing to carry, and whether your spirit can remain steady through the turbulence. These cards ask you to consider deeply. Can you stand firm and hold faith throughout the laborious process, knowing that only time, patience, and inner strength can bring forth what is meant to be? The most important thing here is that you need to view everything from a long-term perspective, to approach the story with foresight and patience. Because along with that, the appearance of the 5 of Wands signals conflict, clashes, confrontations, or disagreements in viewpoints. For those of you who recognize this in your own situation, then this is precisely one of the trials you must face and move through. You will need to search for the deeper reasons as to why these conflicts arise, and even more than that, you must learn how to find a point of harmony, a place where both of you can stand together, where both can accept and meet each other halfway. In more complex relationships, the 5 of Wands can also point to the presence of a rival, an external factor of competition, and if this is your situation, then resolving this issue becomes one of the significant barriers you must overcome. I continued to draw 3 more tarot cards to shed further light, and the result was the Lovers, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. Here, I can feel very strongly the energy of the other person. They are hesitant, indecisive, unable to make a firm or clear choice. At times, their attitude toward you may lack sincerity, or at the very least, they fail to show wholehearted commitment. This is an issue that requires improvement, because without it, the relationship will struggle to move forward into deeper territory. And I want to emphasize one more point, something that applies only to a smaller group of you, that there is indeed the possibility of another person who already holds a fixed place in their life. While this will not apply to everyone, for those who feel this resonates with your case, then this, too, is a major challenge that must be confronted and overcome if the connection is to evolve. The 4 of Pentacles also carries a message about boundaries, those forbidden zones, the invisible lines that one or both of you are holding firmly in place. These may be emotional spaces or aspects of private life into which the other person is not allowed to enter. When combined with the Lovers, this message extends further, pointing toward trust, the necessity for both of you to learn how to trust one another, and to respond openly to the yearning for connection that exists between you. If this is a relationship that has lasted for many years, then over time, the initial emotions, the eagerness to seek each other out, may have begun to fade. At this point, in order to sustain and renew the connection, you will need to find ways to reignite those feelings, to revive the passion and desire you once held for each other, so that the bond is not eroded by the slow wearing down of time. On the emotional level, I sense very clearly that what exists here is a wavering state, something unsettled and unstable. As I drew 2 more oracle cards to look deeper, the energy became even more apparent, emotions swinging back and forth, sometimes leaning one way, then suddenly shifting the other, as though caught in a tug-of-war between 2 currents of thought or 2 opposing choices. This, indeed, is one of the challenges that must be overcome, the indecision, the oscillation, this inability to take a firm stance. And this lack of clarity could stem from them, but it might just as well come from you. The inability to make a clear and final decision prevents the relationship from progressing, trapping it instead in a cycle of stagnation, a loop that repeats itself and resists moving forward. Another card emerges, carrying the message of the flow, a gentle yet profound reminder that sometimes what is truly needed is to release the tight grip of control, to allow things to unfold in their natural rhythm, to accept being guided by the current instead of forcing situations into your own design. This message also embraces the wisdom of patience, teaching that one should not hastily demand immediate answers or rush to seize quick results. What I sense here is an energy of restlessness, a subtle but persistent unease that arises when things fail to move at the pace you so deeply desire. Thus, the challenge set before you is to confront that very impatience, to look within and ask why there is such urgency, why the need to control every outcome, why it feels so difficult to relax and let yourself be carried by the stream of life. Only when you are able to respond truthfully to these questions will you step beyond this invisible barrier and move closer to inner freedom. And now we arrive at the final part, a vision of what lies ahead between you and this person, the path that stretches forward from this moment. The first three cards that appear are the Six of Cups, the High Priestess, and the Queen of Swords. The tableau painted by the spread reveals a striking clarity. You carry within you a sense of unforgiveness, an inability to let go, a lingering refusal that continues to resonate deeply in your heart. In the time to come, it is likely that these feelings will not yet dissolve, persisting instead like a silent wall standing between you and the other. For those of you who feel this message does not match your own reality, you may gently set this part aside and turn to the following cards. But for those who feel the resonance, this is a sign that your heart remains bound, locked by wounds still unhealed, by pain that has yet to find its way to release. Perhaps here, you find yourself in a state where you no longer wish to see, no longer wish to engage, or it feels as though your very being has been trampled upon, your emotions wounded deeply and painfully. Inside, there rises a resentment, a grievance that until now you have been unable to forgive, unable to release. In this present moment, as you turn your gaze toward what lies ahead, the card reveals glimpses of how the story may unfold, yet I feel compelled to dig deeper, to gain a clearer understanding of this situation, and so I continue to draw more cards. I pull another card to complement Death, the Death card itself standing here as a focal point. And along with it appear the Page of Wands, the Eight of Wands, Death, and the Tower. What I sense from Death in this position is not so much an ending imposed by external circumstances, not an inevitable closure forced upon you by fate, but rather a decisive choice that springs directly from your own heart. It is as though you are saying to yourself, I cannot endure any longer. I cannot continue to tolerate or suppress what I feel. This is a surge of emotion rising from deep within, a state you are already inhabiting or are about to encounter very soon. As for the other person, they will reveal something to you, perhaps an earnest gesture, perhaps a truth laid bare, perhaps a genuine expression of their feelings, or a firm statement that says, this is how things truly are. Yet, even as they may believe they have shown you something significant, even as they may feel they have proven a point, to you it still falls short. It does not quench the thirst within. It does not fill the hollow ache that lingers in your chest. You remain unsatisfied, feeling that emptiness has not yet been healed, not yet been replaced with what your heart longs for. This person may indeed make an effort, may show signs of trying, may attempt to prove that they are working toward change, but what they offer is not the essence of what you truly seek, not the thing your soul is yearning to receive. Here, I see that this ending does not bring you into a state of collapse or prolonged despair. On the contrary, it feels much more like a release, a liberation, a gentle sense of relief that comes with finally letting go of what has weighed on you and exhausted you for so long. And yet, the next three cards that appear reveal something rather paradoxical. Even though in your heart you may think that this is the end, that you will be resolute and walk away, in the end it seems as though complete separation never truly happens. The Chariot, the Two of Cups, and the Queen of Cups unfold before us, showing an emotional current that turns back, circling around as if, at last, you open your heart once more, you accept, you allow this person to return. Even when your mind has said, it is enough, I must let go, the quiet voice of your heart still whispers, but this one is the one. Of course, there will be complications, a few conflicts, some disputes, the inevitable clashes that arise. Yet, ultimately, things seem to circle back to where they began. You find yourself once again choosing to trust this person, offering them another chance. No matter how turbulent, no matter what happens, the thread that binds you both cannot be severed. I sense here that, in the end, you tell yourself, well, perhaps I have no other choice but to endure, to be patient, to accept. And strangely enough, when that thought settles within you, you discover that it feels not unbearable, not crushing. It feels as though you can breathe through it, that somehow it is all right. That is why what is revealed here seems to be unfolding in the not-so-distant future, a phase where confusion and weariness rise up, where moments of surrender cross your mind, where you find yourself questioning, can I still trust this person? Can this relationship still hold the weight of belief of faith? It is precisely at that threshold where your emotions will be tested, where patience and trust are stretched taut to their very limits. Looking at the spread as a whole, the picture that emerges may appear harsh, but this harshness is not directed toward you. No, it is directed at the other person. This situation is, in truth, their trial more than it is yours. And yet, I also see the signal of reconciliation shining through. Whatever storms may come, whatever turbulence may rise, the two of you still find it hard, almost impossible, to truly part. Yes, there may be a span of upheaval, a time of waves crashing against the shore, but in the end, the current always draws you both back together. In the next 3 cards, the energy I receive carries the message that healing is drawing near. This may reveal itself in moments where the two of you once again find joy in simply being together, sharing lighter, gentler experiences, or perhaps it arrives as a simple, quiet realization within you. Yes, it is still this person. I sense a release unfolding here, as though the heavy burden that has pressed upon your heart for so long is at last being lifted away. You come to realize that perhaps things do not need to feel so unbearably heavy, that the weight you have carried does not have to be shouldered alone. And quite possibly, from the other person's side, there may come an apology, words spoken that bring softness, soothing the sting of what has just been endured, words that allow the turbulence of the past to ease and settle. I see that at first, your heart was filled with the feeling that forgiveness was impossible, that moving past what had happened was beyond reach, as though the wound cut too deeply and the hurt etched itself too firmly into your soul. And yet, in some way, slowly, almost imperceptibly, those hardened emotions begin to melt, and you find yourself opening once more, choosing to accept, choosing to forgive, even feeling a longing to move toward this person again, still desiring to be by their side. This spread makes it strikingly clear. Deep within your heart there exists a softness, a tenderness toward them, as though no matter how firmly your mind once resolved to be unyielding, your heart simply cannot deny them. The cards mirror back to you a state you might even have to admit to yourself with a sigh. Ah, I have forgiven them once more. And then, as everything gradually settles down, you come to realize that you still feel a quiet contentment, that their presence still brings you a sense of wholeness, that with them beside you, something within you feels complete. This shows that even though there may be confusion, conflict, or misunderstandings between the two of you right now, the outcome still returns to one point. The two of you cannot be separated. I see the image of you at that time, your heart feeling so much lighter, no longer burdened as it once was. At the beginning, you may be caught in the whirlpool of negative emotions, anger, an inability to forgive, sadness, disappointment, the deep sting of being wounded. Yet gradually, all of those emotions begin to soften, to be soothed, to transform into something gentler, something more tender. This shift is vividly expressed through the transition from the energy of the Queen of Swords, a force that is sharp, rational, at times cold and cutting, to the energy of the Queen of Cups, overflowing with compassion, love, and gentleness. It marks a profound change in your emotional landscape when you begin to think, perhaps I could try trusting once more, or perhaps, aside from this person, I could never truly accept anyone else. This transformation is not only emotional, but also spiritual. Your state of being moves from rigid, closed, and guarded toward openness, receptivity, and a willingness to embrace. Thus, the entirety of this spread reveals the emotional journey you are traversing, from anger and refusal, slowly passing through the stages of softening and healing, until at last you return to love and trust for this person. This, here and now, is the final message meant for you today. And with that, I will close the reading for those of you who chose Pile 2. If you enjoyed this content, if it resonated with you, a like or a subscription is the greatest encouragement that helps me continue bringing more meaningful readings your way. If any part of today's message touched your heart, feel free to leave a comment, or even just a small symbol to let me know that it truly connected with you. I deeply cherish every share, every reflection, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this video. I will see you again in the next readings. Hello to those who chose pile 3. Thank you for your patience, and now I will begin the reading for those of you who selected pile number 3. May this reading bring you healing, fresh insights, and moments filled with love. The theme we are exploring here is, what will the future between you and this person look like? First, let us take a look at the current situation between the two of you. The cards that appear are Strength, the Six of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Hermit, and the Seven of Swords. The very first impression I receive is that, from your side, it feels as though you are saying to this person, keep going, I believe in you. The energy here carries the sense that you are in the position of supporting, encouraging, uplifting, and standing by them. You may be providing the grounding they need in order to keep moving forward with a sense of reassurance. The presence of the Two of Pentacles showing up for both sides indicates that this is a relationship where balance and mutual support are at play. There may be discussions, exchanges of ideas, or practical matters that the two of you are working through together. Or, quite simply, the connection between you holds a spirit of cooperation, moving side by side, navigating toward a direction together. The imagery in both the Strength card and the Queen of Wands further reinforces this. I see clearly that it is through your encouragement, your care, your words of reassurance, that this other person has felt renewed, as if a spark has been reignited within them. Perhaps before, they were weary, hesitant, or struggling to take the next step, but because of you, because of your presence and the warmth you give, they have found their spirit again, rediscovered their confidence, and gained the courage to step boldly toward what lies ahead. When it comes specifically to the matter of love, meaning the romantic connection between you and this person, I see that this is not yet a bond that has been firmly established or clearly defined. It's not that the two of you are incompatible or that there are any serious complications, but rather that things have not yet reached a stage of tangible commitment. Even so, I can clearly see that on their side, this person holds very deep feelings for you. They think of you often, they keep you in their heart, yet it seems they haven't spoken out, or perhaps they are intentionally keeping those emotions hidden. This person is truly being uplifted by you in many ways. Your presence in their life grants them strength, courage, and an invaluable source of spiritual encouragement. You might not fully realize it, but to them, you are the guiding light that helps them remain steady and move forward. I also drew an additional card from the Oracle deck, and the message that came through carries a very gentle, soothing energy. The emotional atmosphere between you both, the current flow that connects the two of you, has a quality of softness, calmness, and gradual unfolding. It is not noisy, not rushed, but rather like a cool breeze passing through, leaving behind a sense of comfort and reassurance. At the same time, the card of change has appeared, signifying that the perception, impression, or way you both view each other is beginning to shift, or perhaps has already shifted quite significantly. It could mean that the once vague and uncertain feelings are now becoming deeper and more profound, or that the relationship itself is entering a new stage, with evolving thoughts and emotions on both sides. The relationship between the two of you has always had an underlying foundation of connection, something that may have started from familiarity, acquaintance, or a link that was not necessarily romantic at the beginning. Yet, at a certain point in time, either one of you, or perhaps both, began to realize that this bond was not merely about closeness or ordinary attachment, but that it had taken on the colors of love. When I look into the cards here, I can see that there has been a very distinct transformation on your side, a change so clear that the other person has felt it deeply. This transformation could manifest outwardly, in your appearance, in the way you present yourself, in your demeanor and style, or it may have come from a profound shift within, in the way you think, the way you live, and the energy that radiates from you. Whatever form it takes, this change has genuinely surprised the other person, but in a positive way, like a revelation that combines both wonder and admiration. Now let's delve deeper into the current impression this person holds of you. The Queen of Swords has revealed herself, and I drew an additional card to clarify her energy. Alongside, the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Cups appeared, with the clarifying card for the Queen of Swords being the King of Cups. Taken together, this spread suggests strongly that the two of you already shared a history, and there was indeed a period of absence, or at least a time of very limited contact. Then, upon reconnecting after that interval, they suddenly recognized how much you had changed, and this transformation was dazzlingly attractive. They might have expected you to remain just as you once were, holding on to that image of the past. Yet, in reality, when they encountered you again, they realized you had evolved into a far more mature, captivating, and magnetic version of yourself. It is as if the girl they once knew has now blossomed into a woman who is wise, sharp, radiant, and full of vitality. This metamorphosis not only astonishes them, but also leaves a profound and lasting impression, stirring within them feelings of deep fascination and admiration that are impossible to ignore. In addition, the energy of this spread reveals that you are playing the role of a driving force in this person's life. It is as if you are gently but firmly pressing on their back, urging them to act, to take steps forward, to keep moving ahead. This might come in the form of your advice, your reminders, words such as, "Why don't you try it this way?" Or, "Why not begin right now?" These words of yours provide them with strength, with determination, and with the courage to advance. Here, when we look at the balance of power within this relationship, I can clearly feel that you are the one holding the more active energy, the one leading, the one opening the path. The other person tends to lean on you, to seek strength from you, and you, in turn, do not feel troubled or burdened by this reliance. On the contrary, deep inside, you are even willing to let them lean on you, because you know within yourself that you have the capacity to support them and to hold them up when they need it. Now, I will continue by drawing 3 more tarot cards so that we can delve deeper into the unfolding of this story between the two of you, exploring what lies ahead in the journey of this connection. Oh, how intriguing it is that here we once again encounter a repeating card, the 9 of Pentacles. Following it, the 4 of Swords appears, placed on the far right, and for that card I drew an additional clarifier, which turned out to be the Page of Wands. And alongside them is the presence of the Magician. The energy that comes through so vividly here is that this person genuinely wishes to present to you the very best of themselves, to show you the aspects they are proud of, the qualities that they hope will make them appear more captivating in your eyes. The Page of Wands adds another layer to this message, revealing that when they are in your presence, they carry an attitude filled with nervous excitement, tension, and even a touch of awkwardness. This is not the kind of relationship where familiarity leads to casual ease or careless comfort. Instead, their unease stems from a heightened awareness of you, of your presence, of the significance you hold in their life. They are both observing you with rational clarity and simultaneously nurturing a strong desire to be acknowledged by you, to be seen by you in their best light, to have you recognize the finest qualities within them. Altogether, these cards weave a picture of someone who does not take your connection lightly. They are motivated to rise, to improve, and to refine themselves because of you. There is admiration, respect, and a longing for validation, all mingling in the way they look at you and in the way they present themselves before you. This energy is charged, alive, and undeniably sincere, shaping the dynamic between you both into something vibrant and full of possibility. The fact that the 9 of Pentacles has appeared twice in this reading carries an exceptionally powerful meaning. It reveals that this person perceives you as someone truly outstanding, magnetic, and deeply admirable, and more than that, you embody their ideal type, the very image that aligns perfectly with their taste and desire. They are not only drawn to your outward beauty or your external presence, but they are profoundly captivated by your aura, your demeanor, and the energy that radiates so naturally from within you. Furthermore, through the accompanying cards, I can clearly see another truth. Your presence has awakened within them emotions and motivations that had long seemed dormant. It may be the stirring of love itself, or perhaps a rekindling of enthusiasm, passion, and drive for life, for dreams, for goals they had once set aside. Before you entered their world, they may have lost some measure of willpower, joy, or inspiration to move forward. Yet it is you who have reignited that flame within them, making them want to act, to strive, to push themselves further. In their eyes, you are someone of extraordinary power, a force of inspiration, of vitality, of love and aliveness that breathes new meaning into their days. When I turned to the Oracle deck to further illuminate this impression, 3 cards emerged that spoke volumes. They revealed that at this very moment, in the landscape of this person's mind and heart, there is no room for distractions, no space for anyone else or anything else. They are not casting their gaze outward, nor are they entertaining other affections. All of their attention, all of their focus, all of their emotions are fixed solely upon you. It is as though right now you are the only one who exists in their world, the singular figure who holds the center of their thoughts and the entirety of their heart. Moreover, when I look at these 2 cards together, I can clearly sense something profound, that this person does not seem to be concerned or affected at all by the things that might currently be weighing on your mind. It is possible that on your side, you have been worrying, perhaps giving attention to certain issues or uncertainties, but in their eyes, those matters are not worth troubling over. They refuse to let themselves be shaken, swayed, or disturbed by outside influences. Within them, there is an unmistakable attitude, almost like a quiet strength. Whatever others may think, whatever others may say, it does not alter the way they see things, nor does it shift their perspective of you. What I am describing here is about their impression, meaning that when they look at you, it is not just a glance at your outward appearance, but a gaze that encompasses your whole being, both inside and out. Even if voices around them might cast doubts, even if someone were to say something unkind or negative about you, they hold steadfast. They remain anchored in their own experience, in their own truth, and they choose to trust what they themselves feel and perceive. In their mind, the instant they hear something offhand or disparaging, they brush it aside almost instinctively and affirm to themselves, "No, that is not the truth." They know you, they see you, and that understanding they have of you is something firm, unwavering, and not easily shaken by the noise of the outside world. In addition to everything else, your presence brings them an undeniably positive surge of energy. You make them more optimistic, you push them toward action, you fuel their spirit with motivation and inspiration to move forward. To them, you are not just someone special, you are a force, an influence that makes a profound impact, brightening their outlook, lifting their spirit, and helping their soul lean toward growth and progress. Within the impression cards, this truth has already been strongly revealed, that you are an uplifting, transformative presence in their life, shaping their inner world in meaningful ways. And now I will shift into the next part, exploring the true emotions, the deepest, most sincere feelings that this person currently holds for you. To begin, I look into their emotional state toward you in this very moment. Here, the Queen of Wands appears once more, and what is fascinating is that this card actually leapt out during the shuffle, and so I decided to keep it. Alongside her, the Lovers emerges, accompanied by the Seven of Pentacles. Looking at this combination, I can see that in their heart, you are not merely someone special, but someone who surpasses the ordinary. You are placed on a very high pedestal, almost as though you occupy a singular and irreplaceable position. The Queen of Wands here conveys a powerful magnetic energy. They crave your attention. They long to stand out in your eyes. They want to be the one you notice, the one you remember. Deep within their emotions lies a yearning that is vivid and unmistakable. Look at me. See me. Notice me. It is more than a desire to be acknowledged. It is like a silent invitation, a heartfelt call rising directly from within them, reaching out and extending toward you with unspoken intensity and longing. Moreover, I can also sense something quite clear within this energy. Deep in their mind, there is a voice whispering that they do not want to be just like everyone else around you. They want to stand out, to rise above the crowd, to become someone special, someone who compels you to look at them differently, with a gaze of attention, of particular care, of recognition that sets them apart. They long for you to see them in that way, to perceive them as a singular being, unique and irreplaceable. And with the Lovers appearing here, that message is even more strongly affirmed. Their heart is overflowing with your image, to the point where there is no space left for anyone else. They are, in truth, utterly helpless before the power of your allure, as though they have been swept entirely into the vortex of emotions that you create. As I continue to dig deeper to understand what is unfolding within them, the Three of Swords comes forth, and when I pulled a clarifying card, it was strength. The Three of Swords also aligns with the High Priestess, and together with the Two of Pentacles, the message that emerges is crystal clear. In their mind, you are the one who holds greater importance than anything else. Whenever they are faced with a choice, whenever there is a moment of weighing one thing against another, whether that be work, obligations, or even another connection, you are always the priority. They know with certainty what matters most. They are aware of what deserves to come first. And for them, the answer, time and again, is you. This reveals not only the depth of their feelings, but also the clarity of their intention. Their heart speaks with unwavering honesty. You are at the center of their world, the one they cannot set aside, the one they choose above all else. Of course, there will be some of you who hear this and feel that it may not apply to your situation, yet there will also be those who recognize it immediately and think, yes, that is exactly what I have sensed. The energy of this spread makes it undeniably clear that this person is fully aware that you are someone they cannot afford to lose, and within their heart, you hold a place that is irreplaceable. When the Three of Swords appears alongside the High Priestess, it speaks of something deeply meaningful. They see you as someone who must never be hurt. To them, you are precious, someone to be safeguarded, cherished, and cared for. They want to protect you, to shield you from anything that could wound your heart. This combination also hints that perhaps something may have already occurred in the past that left you hurt, not necessarily something they themselves caused, but rather a circumstance, an external factor, an intrusion from outside that affected you. These cards also carry the message that one should not place too much trust in the words of others, for there may be gossip, distorted stories, or misleading narratives surrounding you. What I see here is not a conflict or a rupture that arose directly between the two of you, but rather the suggestion that interference from someone else, from external circumstances, may have disrupted the connection, leaving you with feelings of discomfort, sadness, or even the sting of being wronged. If you find this resonates, then the message is clear. This person knows exactly what happened, and they understand with full clarity how deeply you were hurt by it. They see it, they feel it, and they are acutely aware of their role now, to protect you from such pain, to guard your heart from being touched again by those forces that do not deserve to reach you. This person wants to emphasize to you, with absolute clarity, that they truly understand you, that they know very well who you are at your core. They recognize that you are not the kind of person who can be easily misunderstood, nor are you someone who could ever be accurately defined by outside voices or careless opinions. The reason is simple. They have observed you closely. They have seen you over time. They have witnessed your essence again and again, and through that lived experience, they have come to know your true nature. Within them exists a firm conviction, a steady thought that does not waver. You are someone who must be cherished, someone who must be protected, someone who deserves to be treated with reverence and care. The Strength card makes its presence felt once again, underlining the theme of balance and power within this relationship. Here, what I perceive is that overall, you are the one who holds more of the strength. You may possess financial independence, personal autonomy, inner resilience, or simply a commanding sense of self that shines unmistakably. This person is completely aware of that, and rather than being intimidated, it deepens their trust in you. They hold a profound faith that if you are the one making the decision, then it is, without doubt, the right one. They are ready to follow your lead, to listen to your words, to place their confidence in your choices. In their eyes, whatever path you choose, they will trustfully walk in that direction, because to them, you are the anchor, the foundation, the solid ground upon which they can lean. Their belief in you is unwavering, their trust absolute, for you represent not only the person they admire, but also the guiding force they are willing to rely on and follow wholeheartedly. I also drew 3 additional cards from the Oracle deck, and the message they bring paints a vivid image. You are someone resilient, enduring, and unyielding. They recognize this about you, not only in the way you present yourself outwardly to the world, strong, independent, and confident, but also in the quieter aspects of you, the moments you allow only them to see. They know both sides of you, the public image that shines brightly before everyone, and the private image, the one that sometimes grows weary, sometimes softens, sometimes reveals vulnerability. And what is remarkable is that they love both of those sides. The Two of Pentacles appears as an affirmation that this person treasures every facet of who you are. They understand with clarity that you are both the one who is steadfast, unwavering, powerful, and also the one who knows how to endure, to face challenges, to bear struggles in silence when needed. They sense, too, that you are carrying a weight, quietly shouldering something perhaps tied to your work, or perhaps a pressure stemming from your environment, your responsibilities, or other trials you may not have voiced aloud. And no matter what it is, they choose to remain by your side. They love not only the part of you that stands strong, but also the part that is tender, that feels, that is sometimes fragile. For them, both your strength and your vulnerability are equally precious, and it is in the balance of those two that they find the fullness of their love and admiration for you. This person sees every part of you, not only the image you present outwardly to the world, but also those tender, delicate moments, the gentle smiles and soft glances that you allow only them to witness. They also recognize your vulnerable side, the places where you are easily hurt, and what makes this so special is that they cherish all of it without exclusion. In their eyes, it is precisely the blending of your strength and fragility that makes you so precious. They hold you with love and reverence, supporting you fully, as though they wish to lend you their energy with each step you take forward. This energy shines through so clearly, carrying with it a profound sense of appreciation they have for you. Now, let us turn to what you are truly feeling for this person in this present moment. Here, I have drawn 2 additional cards, the Moon and the World. Both carry powerful energy, showing that your feelings and desires for this person are neither small nor faint. What comes forth strongly here is the sense that you love this person, and that love lives vividly and unmistakably within your heart. Yet for some of you, there are circumstances making it difficult to express these feelings openly and naturally. It could be that you are shouldering important responsibilities or standing in a role where others look to you for care, guidance, or leadership. These duties weigh upon you, and they prevent you from speaking out all that your heart truly longs to say. The Ten of Pentacles and the World, when they appear together alongside the Empress, reveal that your deepest desire is to build with this person a home, a sanctuary, a family, something enduring, stable, and clearly defined. At the very least, you long for a bond that is steadfast and lasting, one that carries recognition and acknowledgement, something solid that stands the test of time. Yet, despite that yearning, you may find it difficult to put such a longing into words or to voice it directly. Within you, there is a profound craving for connection and belonging, but it is cloaked, carried quietly in your heart rather than declared aloud. With the moon accompanying the Ten of Pentacles, I see that there are matters you are holding in silence, hidden anxieties, uncertainties, or emotions you allow yourself to experience only in private. You may be concealing a part of your true desires, restraining yourself because of present circumstances, or perhaps because of fears that make it hard to expose the entirety of your heart. The Hermit has also surfaced in this spread, emphasizing that it is not easy for you to unveil your true feelings completely. Instead, you may be choosing to preserve a private space within yourself, both as a way to shield your inner world and as a place where you can reflect carefully, contemplating deeply about what this relationship truly means to you. Beyond this, when I take a step back and observe the whole spread, another layer of energy emerges, memories from the past rising once again, coloring and influencing the way you feel and the way you express love in the present moment. These recollections may be tied to experiences in past relationships, emotional lessons learned, or old wounds that have left their mark upon you. They create a cautiousness within you, a hesitancy, as though you carry both the wisdom and the wariness born of what you have endured before. These echoes of the past weave into your present desires, making you more guarded, more deliberate, even as your heart quietly yearns for the stability and deep connection that you envision. What I sense here is a layer of emotion that runs very deep, very real, as though within your heart there still lingers a wound from the past, perhaps connected to a former relationship, to an experience that once caused you great pain, or to a particular circumstance you had to endure. That wound has left an imprint so profound that you silently tell yourself you do not want, and perhaps even cannot allow yourself, to fall back into that same place of hurt again. In some way, this past remains etched vividly in your memory, still shaping the way you perceive love and the way you experience your emotions in the present. To gain greater clarity, I draw 3 more cards. First, I pull an additional card, and what appears are the Six of Pentacles, the Prince of Cups, and a card bearing the symbol of the Phoenix. When these 3 arise together, they speak with remarkable strength, sending forth a message that cannot be ignored. In the case of some of you, what they reveal is the yearning for marriage, or for remarriage, a deep desire to build a home, to create a family, or to step into a new shared chapter of life with this person. Yet alongside that longing, I also see the image of thoughts from the past resurfacing, looping and repeating themselves in your mind, echoing like memories that continue to return, weaving themselves into your present feelings and hopes. As I mentioned earlier, in the previous part 1 saw this energy arising from within you, but this time the spread also reveals that the past may be connected to the other person as well, an old experience, a mark that both of you are aware of. For some of you, this may be tied to the fact that this person was once married, or perhaps you yourself have gone through marriage before. And when you think about the possibility of entering into a new marriage, or of building a home together again, there is a hesitation, a questioning that surfaces. Should I truly do this once more? Can the two of us create a family that is strong, lasting, and secure? The feeling that emerges here is one of both yearning and reluctance, as though you are pulled between the hope of new beginnings and the shadows of old memories that tug you back. The Six of Pentacles, appearing at the very center of the spread, adds yet another layer of meaning. It brings forth the theme of giving and receiving within the relationship. A part of you quietly asks, will I truly feel fulfilled here? Will I find that enduring sense of happiness in this bond? Will I be able to receive enough and give enough so that both of us may feel complete and satisfied together? For some of you, the thoughts drift toward worry, whether you have enough within you, enough love, enough resources, enough capacity to offer this person what they might need. Conversely, there are others of you who place the question upon the other, can they provide what I am seeking? Do they have the strength, the heart, the presence to bring me the wholeness I long for? These questions are not just fleeting worries, they are weighty reflections, born out of careful consideration, shaped both by your lived experiences and by the lingering imprints of the past. Finally, I draw 3 more cards from the Oracle deck to illuminate this matter more clearly, and these 3 cards stand as the very keys that unlock and explain the entirety of the emotions you are carrying at this moment. What I see here is a feeling as though you are trying to suppress your emotions, almost as if you are forcing yourself not to reveal the full depth of what you feel. Deep inside, you may want to express it, you may long to speak it aloud, yet fear holds you back. There is the fear that if you expose too much, it will not be the right time, the fear that if you take action you might make a mistake, or that if you confess your heart it could lead to an outcome that disappoints you. Beneath the surface lies a quiet, persistent worry. Am I doing the right thing? Am I about to make a mistake? Could this all end in failure? This energy shows that within you, there still exist invisible barriers, unseen walls that restrain and keep your emotions tightly bound. And when I look at the next 2 cards, the energy that arises brings forward yet another layer. What comes through is your very real longing to lean on this person, to be able to place your trust in them, even to have them be the anchor that gives you peace of mind. There is within you that desire to rely upon them, to rest in the safety of their presence. Yet at the same time, I also feel the hesitation so clearly. The card here, though its traditional meaning may not fully align, radiates such a strong impression of fear of making mistakes, fear of taking the wrong step, fear of choosing wrongly. This vibration of apprehension is not isolated. It resounds through all 3 cards in this cluster, creating a thread of energy that highlights just how deeply that caution and uncertainty are woven into your feelings at this moment. Next, I draw a trio of cards to see what it is that you need to overcome. The High Priestess, the Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Swords appear, and together they immediately deliver a message that is crystal clear. In order to choose this person, you will need to summon a very great courage. This decision is not merely a matter of the heart. It is not just about following feelings. It represents a step forward that demands you to confront and accept many accompanying factors that come with it. The energy of the spread suggests that, most likely, you have already sensed the feelings this person has for you. You know they love you. You know they hold respect and a deep desire for you. And yet, on your side, it feels as though there is still a brake being firmly pressed down, a restraint, a self-control, holding yourself back from plunging fully into your emotions. For you to truly choose them, it may require closing a chapter that belongs to the past, whether it is an old relationship, a memory that has not yet faded, or even a part of your former life that has long been tied to you. At times, it may mean letting go of what feels familiar, stepping beyond the borders of your comfort zone, and accepting the possibility of risk. It is in this very act of release, of daring to face uncertainty, that your path toward them may unfold. This spread reveals that your feelings for this person are not the kind that ignite at first sight, nor are they the type that flow without hesitation or thought. Rather, what is present here is a love intertwined with deep contemplation, a bond that calls for courage. To move closer to this person, you will have to overcome yourself, overcome your fears, quiet the doubts within, and allow your heart the bravery to step toward them. This is a journey that requires boldness, and the cards are saying that this is precisely the challenge you must face if you wish to create a deeper connection. I then draw 3 more cards from the Oracle deck to shed further light, and these 3 are the keys that reveal how you can find the strength to overcome such barriers. The images that appear speak of a seed of happiness, accompanied by a card that carries the message of careful reflection, and another that speaks of mindfulness, of meditation, and inner stillness. Together, they emphasize one thing with striking clarity. This is a time that calls for caution, for calm, for slowing down and looking inward before making any decision. This sense echoes perfectly with what I mentioned earlier. The energy repeats itself, as if to remind you that you cannot rush forward, but instead must think deeply, weigh carefully, and only then offer your answer. At the same time, there are matters that you must face directly and resolve thoroughly. There are things you cannot bypass if you are to step into this connection wholeheartedly. Another theme arises here as well. The great achievements you have built, your foundations, your work, your reputation, the structures and milestones you have climbed with perseverance and effort. These accomplishments stand clearly in the spread, asking to be considered with gravity. The Queen of Wands appeared earlier in your reading, and now when we look again from this angle, it becomes evident that what demands priority in this moment may not be love alone, but the mission, the purpose, and the values that you have steadily cultivated over time. When love is placed beside all of these, the natural question arises, can these two paths truly walk side by side in harmony and durability, or will you need to adjust your way of life and your stance, rearranging your schedule, redistributing your time, redefining your boundaries, your pace, your priorities, so that everything may flow together as one? The energy suggests that there is a strong possibility of genuine changes unfolding, because this is not only about emotions, but also about the structure of your life itself. And that is precisely what you have been pondering so deeply. What you need to overcome now is a process of thorough reflection, a lesson in learning how to harmonize between the voice of your heart and the reality you are living, between your personal desires and the commitments you are already carrying on your shoulders. Because all the cards repeatedly emphasize the need for careful thought, the true focal point here becomes this. Even after weighing everything with such detail and caution, will you still choose this person? And are you willing to rearrange your life to make space for this relationship to grow? The guidance within this energy is clear. Your inner attitude holds tremendous importance, nurturing trust in yourself that you will find a way, holding on to the belief that solutions will reveal themselves, keeping your mind steady, lucid, and centered in mindfulness, while patiently working through each unfinished knot step by step. It is precisely the spirit, one that is both calmly discerning and at the same time flexible and proactive, that will act as the key to help you cross this threshold and discover exactly where you need to stand, how you need to move forward, so that happiness can finally find a firm and lasting place in your life. And now we come to the final part, the vision of the future between you and this person, to see where this relationship is destined to lead. The cards that appear here are the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. At this moment, the energy shows that you still have not truly given yourself a final answer. This is not yet the stage where everything can be decided in an instant. Instead, what I sense here is that you need more time to reflect, to dive deeper into your own feelings, to listen inwardly until the answer emerges from within yourself. Yet, one thing comes across with clarity: the feelings that this person holds for you remain steady, firm, and unwavering. When I draw additional clarifying cards for the King of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, what comes out is the Ace of Cups, with the King of Swords supported by the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles supported by the High Priestess. At this point, the spread begins to weave together a very clear story. This person desires a decisive choice from you. They may express it directly in words, or reveal it in their own way through actions or gestures, but the essence is the same. They long for you to choose, for you to confirm their place in your life. The energy radiates with their sense of initiative, as if they have already prepared themselves fully, gathered their courage, and invested their heart in awaiting your response. As for you, the cards reveal two shades of energy that may coexist, depending on how the situation unfolds. On one hand, there is still a sense of caution within you. You are carefully weighing each step before making a final decision. Even though you can feel that this person is ready, something within still holds you back, something that makes you hesitate to cross that threshold. And in those moments, you choose to delay, to grant yourself a little more time. On the other hand, there is another layer, another possibility, that this is precisely the period in which you are gradually moving toward resolution, toward determination. A determination to shape this connection with them into something tangible, something grounded, even into the form of a home, a family, a shared life together. The story these cards whisper is both tender and profound. Their heart is already open and waiting, and your heart, though cautious, is slowly unfolding toward the vision of building something real, lasting, and sacred. The overall sense here is that this person has already entered a state of complete openness. They're heart wide and waiting for your confirmation, while you still find yourself standing in the middle ground, a space where you long to move forward, yet also want to be absolutely certain that you have thought it through carefully, that when you do make your choice, it will come from the most wholehearted union of both your heart and your reason. This is a moment in which love, trust, and courage must all converge together to shape the path ahead for the two of you. What I perceive in this spread is the presence of two distinct directions of energy. The first is that both of you, at the same time, arrive at a place of firm resolve, choosing a path and stepping into it with decisiveness and clarity. The second is that you may continue to hold on to your caution, weighing every aspect with care before finally reaching your decision. Yet whichever direction the energy flows, the appearance of the Ace of Cups carries an unmistakable message. The love between you has always existed and will continue to flow forward, sustaining and nourishing this connection. That flow is not just any stream, but the stream of pure and tender love, a love imbued with care, with reverence, with the gentle devotion of cherishing one another. Here, the cards affirm without doubt that between you and this person there exists a beautiful current of emotion, arising from both hearts, intertwining and enriching the bond you share. I drew 3 more cards to look deeper, and alongside the 3 of Pentacles, the clarifiers that appeared were the Chariot and the 9 of Wands. In addition, the direct clarifier for the 3 of Pentacles itself is the 4 of Wands. This combination paints a rather vivid picture. You will move toward this person, or you will choose them with full awareness and intention. The imagery here reflects a decisive action, as if you are declaring to yourself with conviction, I will go toward them, I will choose them. Yet within this vision, there is also a subtle possibility that before this comes fully into reality, some form of upheaval may occur, a disruption that compels the 2 of you to part temporarily, or a circumstance that forces you both to face a situation where the presence of the other becomes more precious, more irreplaceable than ever before. And it is precisely that challenge, that moment of separation or testing, which will ignite in both of you an even deeper certainty that this is a relationship neither of you can afford to lose, that the other is the one person you absolutely do not want to live without. The energy of the 9 of Wands here speaks of an ultimate state of becoming one, a reunion after a long period of waiting. This is what both of you have desired for so long, something that reason, circumstances, or external barriers may have once held back. But now, when the time finally arrives, nothing will be able to stop it. The sensation is that of a powerful surge rising from both hearts simultaneously. No stopping, no hesitation, no turning away. It is a force that propels you forward together, unstoppable, carrying the weight of longing, of destiny, and of love that has endured every test until this very moment. And in the final 2 cards, I see a message that carries a very selective quality, one that will only resonate with those who truly feel its echo within themselves. There may come a moment when you are called to part from, or to release, some portion of what you have built and held onto for so long, the foundations, the achievements, or the familiar environments that have shaped your life up until now, in order to move toward this relationship. It may manifest as a shift, a change, or a letting go of certain familiar structures, allowing you to step into a new journey where you and this person can together give clearer form and definition to the future you are meant to share. The energy here is moving unmistakably toward one choice, the choice of love, the choice of committing yourself wholly to this person, the choice of stepping into a shared life and walking side by side through all that lies ahead. What I sense within you is a deep seriousness in approaching this decision, not in the sense of recklessly abandoning everything you have built until now to begin again from nothing, but rather a choice born of sober awareness, of comprehensive reflection, of seeing everything within a broader perspective. The card reveals that you have been, and still are, in a state of fulfillment with what you have achieved, the fruits of your labor, the results of all that you have patiently built and nurtured over time. And yet now, it is as though life itself is placing before you a new doorway, the next stage, one that by its very nature is about living alongside this person, about building a journey in tandem, creating a shared existence where both of your paths merge into one. Perhaps, when compared with what you have achieved in the past in terms of material comfort, financial stability, or worldly abundance, this new phase may appear somewhat more modest. Yet in return, it offers you something far more precious, something your heart has been yearning for above all else, the fullness of emotional fulfillment, the warmth of being loved, protected, and accompanied, the deep sense of wholeness that makes your heart feel alive and complete. This is not a loss, not a sacrifice of what you have built, but rather a transformation, a conscious shift toward the true value your soul has always needed. When I draw 3 oracle cards to close the reading, what appears are originality, miracle, and spring. Together, these 3 cards weave a luminous message. This is a journey of nurturing and growth. Originality reveals that you and this person will build and sustain something lasting, something rooted, something that stands the test of time. Miracle speaks of events that may seem impossible at first, yet they come to life. Positive shifts that arrive unexpectedly and breathe fresh energy into your relationship. And spring, radiant and full of promise, stands as the emblem of renewal and rebirth, the season when tender shoots break through the soil, when life awakens once more. It heralds that springtime will come to this connection, a new chapter filled with warmth, vitality, and the blossoming of love into something alive, fresh, and deeply enduring. Looking at the spread as a whole, it shows that you will be the one to take the step forward, the one who chooses not to remain still in the same place forever. Because you know deep inside that if you keep standing still, nothing will ever change. This is the moment when you make a choice to move ahead, to actively nurture this relationship so that it can blossom and enter a new springtime, a season where love and companionship form the solid foundation upon which both of you can grow, mature, and find happiness together. This person is revealed as a tremendous source of strength, someone who can receive you, support you, and envelop you in their embrace. The appearance of the Miracle card here carries a message that is crystal clear. The very things you once thought you would never taste, never be able to reach, the joys you once believed had slipped forever out of your grasp. Now, a miracle arrives to transform them into reality. The spread is telling you that even if in the past you believed you were not allowed to wish for this, or that you could never have it, the circumstances are shifting, and they are shifting in a way that is powerful, dramatic, and unexpected. This miracle does not arrive slowly, but bursts forth like a fresh wind sweeping through, clearing away hesitation and fear, giving you the strength and the impulse to move forward. When it comes, you yourself will feel the stirring, the undeniable urge to step ahead, to decisively choose your own path. And this becomes the turning point where you can finally tell yourself with certainty, I have made my decision. From that moment on, you will no longer wait passively as before, no longer be held back by the sense that you must remain motionless, or by the belief that you should not act. Instead, you will find yourself free, propelled by clarity and conviction, ready to walk boldly into the life and the love that is calling to you. In the vision of the future with this person, you become the one who actively reaches out to claim your own happiness. It is not only that you move forward, but you also witness your wish being fulfilled. You find yourself truly living within the very moment your heart has long been yearning for. The image that emerges is of you standing confident and strong, ready and willing to embrace all that you rightfully deserve, with happiness itself becoming tangible, taking form clearly before your very eyes. And with that, I will bring the reading for those of you who chose pile 3 to a close. If in today's spread you felt even the faintest glimmer of light, if something here offered you a sense of guidance or soothed, even just a little, the weight of your inner uncertainties, then I am truly glad for that. My hope is that you have found at least one hint, one sign, or one thread of comfort that has helped your heart feel lighter. Thank you so much for staying with me all the way to the very end of this video. I wish for you always to shine with radiance, to walk in happiness and peace. Until we meet again in the next readings.